Hello YouTube, I'm back out in the Lake District again, and since Christmas I've been pushing myself quite hard to go a little bit further on camps in preparation for some multi-day hikes that I've got planned this year. Last week I was out with Dan the English woodsman and we did a big 12-mile loop, and although the legs are feeling good, I'm taking it a little bit easy this week and I'm out for a catch up with some friends. However, that does give me the opportunity to show you a new lightweight spacious tent that I've got. So that's what we're going to be doing on this video. I'm going to show you the tent itself, setting it up, how much space it's got inside, and it's got some quite impressive stats with it as well. But for now, I am just above Windermere. Some nice views up and down the lake. And there's the gang that I'm going to be catching up with today. So I am looking forward to having a nice chill camp. No doubt many of you will remember when I said that's me in trekking pole tents done. Well, that wasn't quite true. Today we're going to be having a closer look at a trekking pole tent, which once again is in preparation for these longer hikes and multi-day hikes that I'm going to be doing. The Fox One Ultralight that I was using last year still is a fantastic little tent, especially for the money. Super lightweight at 657 grams or something like that. And for those short summer nights where you're only just sleeping in your tent, it's fine. But I did find it a little bit constrictive with myself being such a big fella. So I am looking at bigger lightweight tents for this forthcoming summer season. Right, I'm going to go and catch up with the gang. We're going to go and find ourselves a nice little spot tucked out the way, and then we'll have a closer look at this tent. Right, well, we've had a decent walk around and we've come across our camping spot for the night. We've got Daz and Andy Bewley just setting up their tent. Andy's in the Fox 2, Daz is in the Helm Compact 2. We've got Amy over there with, what's your tent, Amy? Stacey over there is in a red tent. It's not very often I'm stuck for the name of a tent, but yeah, Stacey's in a red tent. We are due some rather heavy and consistent rain, so you might be able to see just there. I have set up my DD 4x4 multicam tarp. As I've already mentioned, this is just a little bit of a catch up with friends, a nice easy camp after pushing myself quite hard since Christmas. Yeah, a little while ago I said I was done with trekking pole tents, and with the better weather starting to come, I've been looking around for a lightweight spacious tent. As I've already said earlier, the Fox One Ultralight is a cracking lightweight tent, especially for the money, and it was just giving me enough space for a short night's sleep. Anything more than that, you know, I'm struggling to sit up a little bit in it. There's very tiny amount of space in the porch for cooking, just and so enough. So I was looking at tents where I could still get a really light tent but more room, which kind of forced my hand back into the trekking pole tents. The trekking pole tent that I had before was the one-person ultralight trekking pole tent from Nightcat. So when I was watching online, I came across their two-person version, and here it is. Slightly bigger pack size than the one man, however it still packs really small, and it's a measly 1.5 kilos. So not ultra lightweight, but definitely lightweight. And with it being the two-person version, you haven't just got that one peak of height in the middle and it immediately drops off behind you. You've got the span between the two trekking poles. Like I say, this tent does come with some rather impressive stats. The flysheet has a hydrostatic head of 5,000 millimeters, and the bathtub floor has an even more impressive 8,000 millimeters hydrostatic head. So whatever kind of rainfall you get here in the UK, this tent should be able to handle it, no problem at all. And what's the price tag on this pole, I hear you ask? £139.32. So that puts it right smack bang in the middle of the budget category. And I think from now on, right until towards the end of autumn, unless you've got any kind of serious wind, this tent you should be able to use pretty much on every camp, and it should give me that space that I'm definitely looking for in a lightweight tent. This is going to be my pitch for the night, reasonably flat. I've cleared as many of the sticks away as I can, so it's time to get it set up. Now, exactly the same as the first Nightcat lightweight trekking pole tent that I had. One thing I like is that Nightcat give you everything. All the guy lines, every single guy line is already attached to this tent. And they give you the right number of pegs. You've got repair sheets in there. Absolutely everything that you need for the tent. Unlike some other manufacturers out there where you've got to pay extra. So once you've got it laid out, first thing you do is you peg the four corners down, and then all you do is you put the trekking poles in at either side, extend them up till it's taut, and then tie the side guys out. Tie the rest of the guys out, and that's it, you're all done. So that's what I'm going to do now, and then we'll let you have a closer look. And there we go, that's the first time I've set this tent up, and that was relatively easy. Like I say, you pin the four corners out, put the trekking poles in, tighten the side guys, and then put the end guys on. It's as easy as that. So before we have a look inside, I'll just show you the tent as it's set up now. See, it does cover quite a big area. You do have to make sure that your pegs are well in. You see I've got the tension on it really well. Your air vents are underneath that. Door ties. I've got it nice and tight across the ridge line with just a little dip in the middle, as it's supposed to be. And exactly the same this side. What I've done on the side that I'm going to be getting in and out of is I've tied this bit directly to the floor, and I've pegged the side that I'm not going to be using directly to the ground. If you have it like I've got it the other side, the guy comes from the top round the peg, and this little hook clips on here. When you open this door, this has a tendency to slide over here, and then when you try and shut that door, you're fighting that tension. So that's what I like to do on this style of tent, make the side that I'm going to be getting in and out of nice and easy to do so. And that is everything set up inside the two-person lightweight trekking pole tent from Nightcat. First time I've been in it, and I have to say this thing is absolutely huge inside. It is a palace. And the material that it's made of is sil nylon, so it's a really high quality, and exactly the same as the one person lightweight trekking pole tent from Nightcat. The stitching is absolutely on point everywhere. You see what I mean? It's all nice and even. It's double stitched. Even on the reinforcement points. Tie out points are double stitched. You can see once again that is reinforced. Absolutely everywhere the stitching is perfect, and it's the sil nylon that gets this tent's weight down. I've got all my stuff inside of this one vestibule for eating and drinking. The vestibules are huge. And for those of you that are interested, I've got a Yeti brekkie for morning and a Cajun spicy sweet and sour pork and vegetable with cashew nut stir fry. Although it is warm at the moment, like I say, we are expecting some heavy rain, and this time of year you never know what the temperature is going to be like. So despite having this trekking pole tent, I have packed a full winter setup inside. You can see my rucksack in the other vestibule, and I've literally just thrown my jumpers, my coats, my waterproofs and everything in, and you can see just how much space is left either side, and I've even got space left at the bottom and the top of my sleeping pad. You've got a hook in either corner for hanging your light off, and you could also run a washing line, ridge line across the top there for drying out socks and hats and gloves and stuff. Right, let's get inside. Now I will put the length, the width and the height on the screen here, but personally I feel that a real life demonstration is much more effective at showing you how much space is in a tent. So I'm sat in the apex directly between the two walking poles, and I'm going to sit myself right up, and I've still got room to put my hand on edge above my head. So I'm 6'3", so that is a good bit of clearance above my head, to the point where, as you can see, I'm kneeling up and my head is just and so touching the mesh of the inner. Now I'm lying down here and I've got my feet off the bottom of my sleeping mat to the point where it's touching the mesh at the bottom of the tent. And if I outstretch my arm, not quite to full stretch, that is when I touch the back end of the inner. Yes, you have a little bit of droop on the mesh here, so when you sit up, somebody my size will just brush that mesh, but honestly, so much room in here. And if I'm laying down, if I scoot myself over, I've got enough room on my right hand side to just and so, as you can see, touch the side of the tent. If I go the other side, that's my arm fully outstretched, and it's only just and so going into the open vestibule. I've never had a tent with so much space, I've got to say. For a smidgen under 140 quid. This thing is a bargain, man. For the first time I've got in it, and the first time I'm going to spend a night in it, I'm very impressed. Like I say, I don't think, other than when it's exceedingly windy, you would need anything more than this tent. And for the price tag, it's definitely classed as a budget tent. It really is. Very happy. And the zips are L zips both sides. Now, despite the trekking pole being in the middle, with it being a bigger tent than the one person one that I had last time, getting in and out was still a little bit tight for me, but certainly not as bad as the last one. Yep, a very happy Cumbrian lad outdoors in his new tent. Very much so. Right, like I say, I'm not filming the camp as such. This is a one to catch up with mates. But what I will do is I'll bring you back as I get in for bedtime, and I will be having my breakfast in here in the morning. So you'll be able to see how much space I've got for cooking inside the porches, and how my night's gone and stuff like that. Right, we'll see you just before bed. Well, me and the gang have had a good catch up underneath the tarp. To be fair, the rain hasn't been anywhere near as bad as was forecast, and as per usual at the moment the Met Office has been a mile out. Had a couple of little showers, and as you can hear now, it is raining. The outside of the tent is wet. There's no signs of any of that coming through, and as you would expect with sil nylon, the water is just beading off nicely. I really enjoyed my tea and I'm as full as a gun, so I am most definitely ready for going to bed. and just sat here, got the down pants on, getting nice and toasty warm, and I'm really enjoying the space inside this tent. Like I say, it's the biggest tent inside I've had. I'm really enjoying the room. I'm not cramped in any way, shape or form, in fact far from it. So I'm going to get my head down for the night. So when I wake up in the morning, I'll let you know how the night went, how I felt inside the tent. Then we're going to cook some breakfast in the vestibule. As I've already pointed out, both of these vestibules are huge. But it is going to be nice to have a little bit of extra space inside the tent as well as in the vestibule. Right, time to get my head down. We'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning everyone. That was a very comfortable first night's sleep in the Nightcat tent. I was able to spread myself out a little bit despite all my gear being inside. We've had some consistent rain overnight. You can see the droplets on the outside, and no surprise, absolutely nothing's got in. There's a little bit of a breeze this morning and that hasn't troubled it at all. And like I said last night, anything strong winds, this tent might start to struggle, but I think you'd be good up to 30 miles an hour. Just my honest opinion, that. So unless that wind's up, this very spacious tent will do you, especially for 140 quid. It's now nearly 7 in the morning, so I've had a good 8 hours sleep, which is not like me. So it's time to get some breakfast on, I think. And just before I get the breakfast on, just opened the door to the porch area. Now, as I noticed last night, we've got a little bit of sag in this tent. I'll lift that up there. You see, that should just be a little bit further up. And I believe that is a slight error on my behalf. Obviously this is my first time pitching the tent, so I pitched it out nice and taut when I put the 4 corner pegs in, and then I put my poles in, and then I tensioned everything to that. But the 4 corner tie out points were quite tight, so what I think I need to do next time is guy everything out just a little bit more loosely, and then when I put my poles in, that will enable me to extend it a little bit further past the original point that I've got it now. That will gain me a little bit more height and take the sag out of these side netting. And like I say, it will just lift that up. You know, what am I talking there? Maybe a 3 or 4 inches. That will tighten this inner netting up and give me another 4 inches or so in height on this apex in the tent. So yeah, a little bit of an error on my behalf there on the first time setting this up. Only a small one, but that would make a big difference inside this tent, just tightening this inner mesh up and giving me a little bit more headspace. That's my breakfast, just on with cooking now. And the water off that will make me a nice coffee. More than enough room inside this vestibule, and with the tie out point being the way that it is, you can see the vent there is always open, and this style of tent does give you a little bit of a space at the bottom. Because I've tied this side down to the floor, there's less space underneath the fly sheet this side than there is the opposite side. You can see there's quite a big difference there. And also part of that is the lie of the land, and I'm sat more or less in the centre of this tent, and you can see I've got quite a lot of space in front of me as well as behind me. This is most definitely a comfortable 2-man tent as well. And at one end of the tent you do have a little storage pocket with the fire warning on it, just a little small one. So that's perfect for putting your keys and your phone and stuff like that in. But there's plenty of space elsewhere in the tent to put your stuff as well. Now I am just off the apex, because obviously I've got the camera slightly offset off centre. But you will notice with the extra space in this tent, I've still got half a foot behind me before I'm at the back of the tent, but my legs are very well stretched out. so I can sit and enjoy my breakfast comfortably this morning. Whoa, it's better. I do love a good breakfast at camp. And a morning coffee. Whoa. I'm just on with packing up inside the tent now, and I'm almost done. And the extra room has been most welcome this morning. I haven't been cramped in any way, shape or form in here. You can see I've just got my electricals there. That's my rucksack laid right smack bang in the middle. Equal spaces either side. I've just got a few bits and bobs left to put in. So I'm almost done. And then all I've got to do is get outside the tent, pull the walking poles out, unpeg it all, give it a shake to get the excess water off, roll it up and put it in the bag. Simple as that. Well, I ventured outside the tent. Everybody else is on with getting up and getting the breakfast and coffee sorted and starting to pack up themselves. Just look at the water beading off this tent. That shows you how waterproof that is. Like I say, there's not a bead of water got through there. On the side where my head was, where I've sat up and the inner's touched the outer, there's obviously been a little bit of condensation. So that looks a little bit damp on the inside from the condensation, but just look at that ridge line. That water is just beading off. You can see what I mean there, where I've been sitting up and it's touched the inner. It looks like it's wet through, but it's not. It's because of the moisture on the inside and me pushing up. There, the other side where the vestibule is a little higher, it's just created a little hollow. You can see that water has been sat there all night. And that's the advantage of sil nylon. It's light, it's strong, and it's very waterproof. Right, I'm going to finish packing up the last few things inside the tent, and then it's time to tear it down. And that's the tent down, super easy. Back in the rucksack inside of 2 or 3 minutes. Like I say, all I did was take the walking poles out, let it drop down, pull all the pegs out, fold it in on itself in thirds, so one end over and then the other end over equally. Put the pegs in the bag, roll them up inside the tent, stuff it in the compression sack, which is made of the same material as the tent, and tension the buckles up on the side. Nice, easy, simple. So super easy to put up and to take down. As we always do when we're wild camping, we make sure that we leave no trace behind. You can see there, that's where the tent was. You can clearly see just how dry it's kept me in last night's rain. There's no rubbish left behind there. And there's my rubbish bag ready to go. This camp was a catch up with friends, and it was really nice to do so. It's a while since I've seen them all, but it has given me the opportunity to show you the new tent that I've got, and I'm super happy with it. It's lightweight, it's spacious, it's easy to put up, it's easy to take down, and it's a budget tent for just under 140 quid. If you're looking for those things in the tent and something that'll do you 2 to 3 seasons if you're experienced, then that Nightcat 2-person trekking pole tent is the one for you. I think it offers excellent value for money, and the specs with it for the money are great. Honestly, it's absolutely shocked me. There will be a link in the description, and it is worthwhile pointing out at this stage that I don't make any money off this. I'm not affiliated to Nightcat in any way, shape or form. I'm simply looking at lightweight trekking pole tents at the moment. I've got this one and I'm showing you guys it. Now I am looking at an ultralight trekking pole tent, and that is a premium one, so that is most definitely not on a budget. But just at the moment I didn't have the budget, so I opted for the Nightcat one. But keep an eye out on the channel. Hopefully soon I'll have a premium ultra lightweight trekking pole tent to show you. But either way, if I don't get that one, the Nightcat one will definitely do me through late spring, summer and into early autumn, through my longer hikes and my multi-day hikes as well. Thank you very much for joining me in this one. I hope you found it useful. So once again, until next time, stay safe, much love from a Cumbrian lad.